Hey guys, Professor Bill, Comic Book University, and Captain Marvel issue number 24. I'm going to explain how an issue number 24 could actually be an anniversary issue. You're going to love this one. First, I'm going to give you a little introduction into who made this comic book. Then, you never know, we might even delve into more about the story itself. All right, guys, this is called New World Part 3. The writer is Kelly Thompson, Lee Garbey on art, Belen Ortega on flashback art, and color artist is Antonio Fabela. The letters are by VC's Clayton Cowles, and George Molina does the cover art with Trad Moore doing a variant cover. Let's get talking about how Kelly Thompson has got, like, I don't know if this is the greatest job on the face of the planet, but, being a little bit of a generalizer for a moment, okay? What are games that guys like to play? Cowboys, Indians, kill the guy with the ball, basic, fun stuff like that. Girls in general usually like to play house, right? And they like to play dress up. And one of the things they like playing once we get to around high school and the high school dances and all that stuff and fun time in the cafeteria is matchmaker. And I just realized with this issue, even though it's been going on for several issues, that Kelly Thompson gets to play matchmaker in this comic book series, and she gets paid for it. And I can't think of anybody else on the face of the planet who gets to do this, nay, not even geneticists. She literally gets to play matchmaker and say, it'd be cool as if this superhero got with this supervillain and these two got together and they had a kid and oh my God, and I want to do this now also. I'm saying it could be fun. It'd be fun. And she gets paid for this? Dude, no, hold on. I need to reconsider my freaking career decisions. Okay? Because no, how do you get paid to do something like this? Oh, that's right. You do it really well. We find out who the father is. Hint, hint, it's not too big of a surprise who O's father is. But we also find out who his mother is. I'm a little bit disappointed because I guessed who the mother was. No spoilers, but I guessed who the mother was, and it's revealed in this one, and I'd rather be able to say, all right, guys, here's my prediction, boom, so that I could be right, and that was taken away from me, damn it, slipped from the palm of my hands, bastards. Anyway, can you tell I'm really excited about this comic book? This is so much fun, because most of this is just people hanging around, and then it breaks into a full-fledged slobber knocker. I also want to point out, Kelly is starting potentially to hint towards a bit of a trope where evil men kidnap women and make them do things, not those things, in order to further the ends of their society, their utopia they're trying to create, and Captain Marvel has to go in and knock some sense into somebody, quite literally, right? Because this is the second time this is happening in this run. It's still fun, but I'm noticing a pattern here. Hey, by the time you get to the end of this comic book, I'm going to give you a little tiny bit of a spoiler. Captain Marvel goes down in this one, and it's not pretty, and it's really sad. And while I don't think she would have went down that fast, I do believe that the person who, because she can take a licking a lot more than any licking that she can give. As long as we're not talking about absorbing energy, then all of a sudden, that's it. She's just way too OP. The person who is fighting her, however, can, while not stronger than her, can take a licking better than her, presumably. We could guess on that. That being said, I really like this issue. I like the history. Technically, it's the future. But since they're in the future, it's their history, which is Earth 616 future. It all actually works out in the end, and I really I love these kinds of stories. I want to see more. One of the biggest problems I have with this is that I feel like it's going to be temporary, and I really hope that we get to explore this in the future. We get to explore this future in the future. I want to come back to this utopia, so to speak, again sometime later in the books, because I really like this world. Guys, we've seen lots of different alternate universes, alternate Earths, alternate this, that, and the other thing, and some of them we like more than others, right? This is one of the ones that I like a lot more than possibly most of the others, because there's an actual legacy here. And the way that Thompson is doing this, every character matters. That's something you don't see very often, right? Even with the Wastelands, it's like, oh, this is Wolverine's future when Millar was writing it, and then other people came along like, no, look, everybody has a future here, even freaking Star-Lord, which I think was the jumping the shark moment, but hey, that's just me. The idea, though, is that everybody has shaped this future here. Everybody. You could tell, well, any of the main characters, most of the named characters here, you can actually see where they individually have shaped some part of the future or their parents. And it's really interesting, and I would love to see that explored more. I'm also not going to renege on my not an offer, my suggestion that we should have a female-led Marvel event one of these days. All right, Kate's has had plenty of chances. Aaron, all these different guys have had their chances. All right, I'd really like to see Miss Thompson get an opportunity to just go full forward and just boom, here's an event. How do you like me now? Saying Marvel likes to say that they're diverse. Prove it. So how is this an anniversary issue? I had to get a little closer to the camera. I do apologize. Letters from the Wings. Now, I don't usually write to comic books. In fact, I've only written one time to a comic book. It was a Hulk issue back when I think I was 14 years old. And I've never written since because it never got in there, and I was disillusioned forever. You know what I'm saying? If at first you don't succeed, quit, because you don't want the heartache. No, I'm joking about that, of course, but I actually would have written in if I would have realized that they were doing something like this. They actually wanted a whole bunch of people to write in about their love for the Carol Corps, for Captain Marvel, as it is. Here's the part from the editor. The first part is just an introduction. Everything else is actually, I don't know, it's kind of like a proselytization, kind of like an advertisement. It's more like a congratulations and a thanks to Raphael. Now, you guys remember Raphael, right? Actually had him on the show last episode, last issue. So this is issue 24. So Captain Marvel issue number 23, he showed up in the second part and he's just like, hey, I don't know where it came from. I probably brought him in. But the point is, just talking about him getting to meet and talking behind the scenes to Brie Larson and all these different writers and artists and actually being drawn into several books at this point. And he's a guy who's been doing this. Guys, I'm still in my 4th year. I haven't even been doing comic book reviews for 5 years yet. This guy celebrates his 10th year and now makes an extra month. But 10 years of him doing the Carol Corps, the Captain Marvel news over on Twitter. You find this guy, you can find all these fans on here, and it's fun to see, because I don't know anybody else that does this in Marvel or DC, where they actually pay attention to their fans. We'll see. Maybe because Spider-Woman's got a pretty big following also, and Carla Pacheco's kind of cool. You never know. Something might show up there. Plus, if I remember correctly, Carla does her own letters columns. Anyway, we're not there. We're here. And it's cool to see Raphael having done so much work and getting a mention. And most of these letters, oh look, it's an extra page, are from Carol Corps members. The first one is actually Raphael himself, which is kind of cool. And I'm sure I've seen most of these names before. Hey, Lori Hirep is right over here. I almost had her on a show. Things didn't quite work out the way I wanted them to. It's life, it happens. But I almost had her on a show defending Carol against Tony Stark in the comic book courtroom that I did for Civil War Part 2. Yeah, go check that out because it's always a lot of fun. Anyway, Lori would have been really good in that. You never know. There's a chance we might get her on the program one of these days, but it's cool to see her in here. Also, it's always good to see somebody who you know, right? Somebody who you follow, somebody who you see around, whatever, you know what I'm saying? And they wind up getting into one of the comic books that you love so much. So that's actually really cool. I can't it's hard to put this into words, but honestly, it's good to see a comic book. It's not even a comic book company necessarily. It's a comic book. This one, Captain Marvel. It's incredible to see them actually care about their fans and their biggest fans, beyond the shadow of a doubt. And yeah, Raph worked hard. Sometimes people work hard and they don't get anywhere, right? And this guy, he's actually getting celebrated. A fan, and the fans there, because higher, further, faster means the whole group, damn it. It's great to see he and the entire Corps get celebrated in this. And that honestly brings a tear to my freaking eye, man. Like, that is amazing. It's great to see that there's some books and some people, we can put so much love into it and it actually gets reciprocated. That's very rare, specifically in this industry, in this medium, right? That almost never happens where, oh, I happen to have, gotten my letter published, right? Immortal Hulk last week, two weeks ago, guy gets 2 of his letters in and mentions Comic Book University. Stuff like that's cool, right? The sneaky stuff is one thing, but when the company actually calls you out and says, thank you for all that you've done, I don't know that anybody deserves it more than Ref, but it's nice that all of us got a mention in there. Guys, this is one of the best comic book runs out there, one of the best comic books that have just amazing people on it, that actually gives a thanks to their fans. That's probably the most amazing part of this entire book. I absolutely love that there are so many people involved in this book who care enough about their fans, right? Miss Thompson, once in a while, hey, what's up? Make a comment on one of your videos. Boom, 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 boom. That's always nice because I don't like to bother anybody. You know what I'm saying? I always feel like I'm bothering somebody. I don't want to pester anybody. You know what I'm saying? So I hate initiating contact, right? But every so often getting it. These are people who care not just about what they're doing, and they're definitely not doing it just for a paycheck. They actually care about their fans, and they actually want to give thanks. Find me another comic book that does that. Find me another run. Find me another writer, all right? Interacting a little bit on Twitter, this, that, and the other thing, that's cool. But something like that, something like what happened this month in the letters page of this book, you find me that anyplace else again. Happy to eat my words. I have a feeling I'm going to go hungry that night. Guys, I'll talk to you later. comicbookuni.com. Like the video, watch an ad, and a special thanks to my patrons, of course. Talk to you all later. Professor Bill, Comic Book University. Class dismissed.